bringing us to this point in our history, we have asked three persons, special persons in the life of our church, to cut the ribbon. Those persons are Sister Ann Beckmeyer, the First Lady of the St. Matthew Church, wife of Pastor Holland Beckmeyer, Sister Donna Johnson, my wife, and Deacon James Vance, the oldest deacon and member of our church. We thank God that God has spared his life to see this day. Yes, I am the group.
to the interest celebration of Little Flock Baptist Church brand new edifice. And on this occasion, I'd like to interview some of our members who are living at a distance, or also some of those who haven't been able to attend for a long time. First off, I'd like to talk with someone who is a favorite here at Little Flock, now is living down in the Tar Heel state of North Carolina. I understand he's a big Jim Valvano fan, and it's hard for me to believe that because this guy used to be dyed in the red Denny Crum type. But I'm going to bring him in here now, and you'll be able to notice that he's definitely switched sides because he's wearing Dean Smith's jacket. So Leslie Sprouse, why don't you come on in here? Leslie, how's it feel to be back home today?
Well, it feels awfully nice to be back in the city of Louisville and to come out to this great event.
What do you think about the new church, what you've seen of it so far?
Well, what I've seen thus far is very impressive to me. I see the Lord is still using miracles here, and people still contributing and helping the church move along at a rapid pace.
What do you think, Leslie, about living in North Carolina? What's it like being away from your family and your friends? Have you made that adjustment yet?
Well, sort of made it, but then again, every now and then you also get homesick, and you kind of miss the friends and the family that you left behind.
What do you kind of do for entertainment down there?
Well, basically I work and go to school and attend several churches, looking for a church home of my own.
Well, it certainly is good to see you again, Cootie High, and you got to make some more visits more frequently.
Well, thank you very much, brother.
Right. I like that Dean Smith coat you got over
Thank
too.
you very much.
Thank you. A lady who has been a member of this church for a very long time. We haven't seen her for a long time, and it's just good to see her back here today. This is one of those type of occasions that's what you consider a once-in-a-lifetime occasion. You don't see people building new churches every day. And so on these particular times, you see people that you don't often see. But I think that what we have to do is be grateful that we see them whenever we see them. So at this time, I'd like for Mrs. Tamara Gray to come in. Tamara is also Norman Martin's cousin. Tamara, how you been doing?
I've been doing terrific.
What do you think about the new church that they built here today?
I think it's wonderful. I'm really, and I feel real emotional about it. You know, I'm glad to be a part of it today.
Well, you know, your family has been a part of this church and its church history for many, many years. And as a matter of fact, you were born and raised in this church and were at one time or another member of many of the various organizations that they have here. How do you feel about coming back on a regular basis?
How I feel about coming back on a regular basis?
Right.
I'm not sure right now. I'm happy at the church that I am in. I'm participating in a lot of organizations there. And I will be coming back occasionally for visits.
Well, Tamara, it certainly is good to see you again and your family, and we would like to see you make some more frequent visits. Thank you.
I will, thank you.
This time, we got a gentleman that's visiting the city, and he sort of made a name for himself. We're proud of him. Little Flock has a long tradition of producing good basketball teams, but in this particular gentleman, we have produced a great basketball player. He's just received a scholarship to attend the Texas A&M Texas A&M College down in College Station, Texas, where he'll be on the basketball team there. We're very proud of Mr. Tyrone Harbin. Tyrone, good to see you again.
Good to be here. Good to see you.
What do you think about the new church?
I think it's nice. This is my first time seeing it. I'm impressed. I think everybody did a good job.
What have you been doing for the last couple of years? Where have you been playing basketball? Tell us.
I first started out at the University of Texas, San Antonio, and I just recently, this past season, played at Carl Albert Junior College.
That's in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, correct. And from there, I signed with Texas A&M, where I plan to finish up my college career.
What convinced you that Texas A&M was the place, the Aggies were the place for you to play your basketball?
Well, I'm familiar with Coach Metcalf. He's been in contact with me since '83, and we've communicated off and on since then. And I've visited a couple of times. It's a nice school. It's got good curriculum, good program, and I know the coach personally.
What are some of your goals, Tyrone?
Well, right now, it's to graduate and get my bachelor's degree in engineering and electronics. So that's my #1 priority right now.
You know, I'm a little bit familiar with A&M. I know it's a great engineering school, but one thing that always impressed me was the male cheerleaders. Do they still have them guys that come down and act all crazy?
Correct.
They still have them? Tell us a little bit about them.
This will be my first year down, my first year attending school. I've seen them. I don't know too much about them.
They're a wild bunch, let me tell you.
I know that. I've seen them in action.
Well, A&M is definitely a good school, Tyrone, and, you know, we're proud of you here at Little Flock. You know, if anything we can do for you, you know, we're always, you know, willing to do what we can. But, hey, we know that you have a lot of talent, you have a lot of ability, and you can do whatever you set your goals to do. You can reach them if you keep your hand in the Lord's hand and let Him lead your way, and, hey, the rest will take care of itself. Good to see you again.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Here's one of the young men that I'd like to talk to right now, is one that we're also very proud of. And we're proud of him, not so much because he's a stranger, but because he's always around. He's one of those guys that helps with the ushering. He's here almost every Sunday. He's one of our better volleyball players. I don't know what we'd do without him. He's not a spiker, but, hey, what's the use of having a spiker if you don't have that guy who can set the ball up? Come on in, Bruce, and I'm going to set you up. What do you think about the new facility first?
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. I'm just glad we finally made it. And I thank God for that.
What do you think about the attendance now? You think that, like you see today, you're a regular churchgoer, Bruce, but today you see a lot of people that you haven't seen. I know I have, and I'm pretty sure you have, that you haven't seen in a long time. What do you think this will do as far as their attendance?
Well, I hope everybody just keep on coming out, and just keep coming out, really.
Yeah, this is one of those days where that the fellowship that's there is just something that you don't feel on an average Sunday. But there's so much fellowship here today, and it's just good to see people that you haven't seen in a long time. It's good to see people that we do see often also. But what about the volleyball? Volleyball starts again this week. You've won the championship now for 2 years in a row.
I think it was 3, wasn't it?
3 years, maybe. Excuse me. 3 years in a row. And of course, you've been a key member for all the volleyball teams that we had at Little Flock. What do you think it looks like this year?
We're going to win again, I hope.
Well, you sound very confident. Who do you think your competition come from this year?
Eastern Star.
Eastern Star. They're a very tough young team.
And Burnett Avenue. You know, that's a rivalry right there.
Definitely.
So I just hope we can, I think we're going to be losing a few girls.
Yeah, well.
I think we're going to do all right.
Little Flock has a great tradition in sports. I mean, when you sit back and look at the trophies that you guys have won in basketball and volleyball and softball, you have a lot to be proud of. And when you think about Little Flock, you think about excellence in sports. I mean, I've seen that name. When people heard that name, we're playing Little Flock, lose before the game starts. So, like you guys continue that tradition, we're proud of what you've been doing here at Little Flock. Thank you. And now, a gentleman I'd like to interview. I like to kill him first and then interview him, because he probably comes over better when he's dead. He's just that type of person. But he's a jack of all trades. He's one of them type of people that you don't know what you do without him. And then when he's around, you'd like to do without him. But he and I, we do a lot of traveling together. We journeyed last summer to New Orleans, Louisiana, and painted that town red, white, and blue. And then we actually took a trip this past fall up to Buffalo, New York, and found out that the weather was a little bit too cold to our liking. So we came back down to Louisville in a very harried manner. But without further ado, I'd like to bring this man in, and I respect him very much. He was my, believe it or not, Sunday school teacher. So you know he's got to be over 70. He was my Sunday school teacher. And the thing that I remember most about his Sunday school teaching was that he was authority on the Fred Sanford show. He knew all about Fred Sanford. And we'd always review Fred Sanford before we'd get into the lesson. But without further ado, I'd like to bring in Brother George Johnson. George, how you doing?
Hi, brother. How you doing today? Good.
George, what do you think about the crowd that's here today?
We got a great crowd here today at the beginning of our new church. And then it's good to see all this big crowd out here today.
What about the people coming in and sitting down? How are you handling the numbers that we're getting today?
The crowd was great, brother. They participated very great when coming in. They were obedient. They followed the orders pretty good. You know, you always have a few that don't want to follow, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Now, when you look at what you've got today, what do you think you can expect in the succeeding Sundays? You know you're not going to get this type of support every Sunday, but what can you expect in the Sundays to come?
Brother, for the next 4 or 5 Sundays or more, the church will stay crowded because it's new, up to about July or August. So you can see this kind of crowd coming each and every Sunday. after that, they would die off. The newness would be gone. And everybody would be able to see the new building. You know, you have to look again, brother. The church is not complete yet. And so when the church get complete, it'll stay crowded till we get completed and everybody see the new church. And after that, the crowd will go.
What do you think about what you've seen so far of the church?
So far, the church is a good church. It's been built sound, but you can find, like in any church, we got some problems here at Little Flock, but I think we can work them out with the contractor. But as far as the building of the church, it's pretty good. It's pretty sound.
What are going to be some of the advantages that we can look forward to in this new facility?
Well, and for some, the Sunday school will gain some grounds in the new building. Anybody that's been a member here quite a while at Little Flock know that we have gained grounds in seating capacity of our church, which we have outgrown in the old church. The new church will seat 500 and some people comfortably. And again, while we're talking on that, you know, the balcony, what we all participated, but we do have 35 additional seats up there, which we didn't have. So that brings our total of seating capacity in Little Flock 617 people.
Okay, now, George, you know that come June 15th, that the National Baptist Congress meeting will be in session down in Dallas, Texas. Are you ready?
Yes.
What are you looking forward to down
I'm looking forward to going to my class. I'm looking forward for the trip. It's always, last year was a great trip, great drivers and things. I still got my back seat. So we are looking forward to going down to Dallas and to a nice session down there in Congress, and which we learn and do so much down there. And one other thing before I go, brother, you know, it's good to see all our young men come back for this great occasion. Even those that was in service and ones that are off in college, they're all here today. That shows you how great a part Little Flock have played in our young people's life, that they do take their time to coming back home for this great occasion. I think
you can kind of look back now and you looked at some of those early years when you were laboring in the Sunday school and you was wondering if some of those things you were saying or doing was getting over. Yes. But now you can sit back and see the fruits of your work in the efforts, and how do you feel about that?
Great. Seeing you as superintendent of our Sunday school, which you're doing a great job, and Mom and quite a few other boys that anytime they back in town, drop in on our class and things. We still are laboring for the Lord. And the way I started out those years back, we still believe in the same thing, that Christ's will is the answer to whatever our problem may be. You know, once you have been taught right, you always come back.
Well, George, it's good to talk to you again, and looking forward to doing Dallas with you.
Okay.
We're interviewing now Mrs. Nancy Kennard. She's the aunt of my wife, Linda Martin. Linda and the rest of my family's in California right now, in Palmdale, California, to be more specific. But she's also on the kitchen committee here at Little Flock on this great day. Little Flock celebrating their brand new church facility. And the first thing I want to know is, you got any greens?
Have any greens?
Greens.
We have plenty of greens for you, William, because we know you like greens.
All right, then. Well, do you have a different type of greens cooked by different people?
We have greens cooked for about 3 or 4 different people.
All right, then. What's some of the other things that's going to be on the menu today?
We have macaroni and cheese, corn pudding, candied sweet potatoes, tossed salad, all kinds of cakes and pies.
How much effort does it take to prepare a meal, and how many people did you prepare for?
We are preparing for around 350. We probably have more than that here, but that's what we were preparing for.
How long have y'all been working on this meal?
We started week before last getting things together, but we really started decorating and doing all of that yesterday. We worked from 10 o'clock yesterday morning until after 10 o'clock last night, and we was up here at 7:30 this morning.
What do you think about the new church?
Once it is completed, we're going to have a beautiful church. What the sanctuary now is a beautiful place. And I'd like for everyone to come and see our church because it really is pretty.
And what about Little Flock? What can Little Flock do to enhance what we have now, to keep what we got looking, you know, in the sacred
only
center?
thing Little Flock has to do is stick together, work together, and we can accomplish anything we want to accomplish. Because Little Flock is a church, a family church, and we do stick together.
And what about the family out in California? This is one day that I really miss them not being here. You know, what do you feel about that? And what would you like to say to them?
I wish my sisters and brothers and my nieces and nephews were all here, because they're really, most of them are from Little Flock and have been in Little Flock all their lives, and they know all about Little Flock.
I know your family is like my family, and and we've been mixed up with the history of this church for many, many years.
Right.
I don't know if it wasn't for Little Flock, I mean, I just feel uncomfortable at somebody
That's right.
else's
I don't think
church.
I could enjoy myself nowhere like I enjoy myself in Little Flock.
Well, Miss Nancy, I'm going to let you get on back over there so you make sure that the greens don't burn.
They won't, baby. I'll take care of them for you.
Good to see you. You know, it's always good when you see the fellas. And all the fellas are here today, man. I mean, this is one of them times that, you know, we just don't get together like we used to. Remember how we used to get after what was it, the junior, with young people's day, we used to all get together, get in the car, ride around town playing ball. And, man, you kind of miss a lot of things. When you think about some of the guys, and occasion like this brings to mind my brother Daryl and how close we all was, that, you know, that you start thinking about people like that on a day like this, don't you?
Yes, you do. I'm glad to be here.
What do you think about the new church? Have you seen it?
It looks beautiful. Yes, it does.
What about your family? How they, you know?
Oh, they love it.
And your little girl and all. And it's just good to see everybody, though.
All right.
Be with the fellas and all, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But thank you, Eric. I know you've always been a man of a whole lot of words, so I'm not going to keep you too long, because I know if I get you started, I can't get you stopped.
Oh.
So it's good to see you again, brother.
With that.
To introduce Maurice Gasaway now. Maurice has been around here at Little Flock for probably way too long to suit a whole lot of people. But I just don't know what this church would be without Maurice. Maurice is one of the individuals that I remember when he was playing basketball for us, in a real tight situation, the coach was trying to get serious, and then Maurice would be Maurice, and then the coach, who was normally cool, calm, and collected, would just explode. Get out of the place, Maurice. But that's Maurice, and I don't know, we thank God for Maurice, because he lets us know sometimes that some of us tend to take things too seriously, and Maurice doesn't take anything seriously. All right, Maurice, where have you been since you got back from Mars?
Jupiter. Yeah, I took a trip.
Flock, and I have here on my right, Brother Elijah Keenan. He's the chairman of our deacon board, and on my left is Brother Anthony Brown, the youngest member of our deacon board. I'm going to start with you, Brother Keenan, and what's it feel like today here in Little Flock?
Well, I think this has been a great day, Brother Martin. It wasn't what we really actually wanted, but I think it's been a great day, and to God gives the glory. I'm just thrilled over myself. I'm very much thrilled over how things went off today.
Well, now that the building is up, do you think we could go about normal business here at Little Flock, or do you think it's going to take a little while?
Normal business?
Yeah, go back to things being normal around here, and, you know.
No, I think it's going to take some time. It's going to take a little time. I don't think this here is a fellowship is going to wear off for a long time. I believe it's going to be an asset to our church. And I believe it's just going to draw new members, and we're going to have a great fellowship in Little Flock.
What do you think? What would you, if you could ask the members of Little Flock to do one thing, what would that one thing be?
I would ask the members to put their trust in God, and give. And you know we're gonna need money, and give their money, and give their time and their talent, because it's gonna need it here at Little Flock. But we're gonna need the money, time, and talent for all members. It's gonna take.
Thank you, Brother King. Brother Brown, I know this is something that you've been looking for, a day that you've been looking for a long time. You worked hard, as Brother Keenan has, and you've been discouraged at times, I know, but now that it's here, that it's happened, that the edifice is up and we're about to move in, tell us your thoughts.
Well, I agree with our chairman. I think it's been a wonderful day, and although I have felt discouraged at times, I knew that the Lord would bring this day about. I felt particularly proud at the appreciation that we was able to show to the St. Matthew's United Church of Christ, to let those folks know that we appreciate all the kindness and generosity that they've shown to us. I thought the statement that our chairman of the trustees made, Brother Bristol Coleman, when he referred to them as being real people, and that the world needs more people like the St. Matthew's United Church of Christ. And I agree with that. Those folks never did let us feel that we were imposing on them. And through all of this, I don't think we would have had as easier a time as we had if it were not for the kindness and generosity of St. Matthew's Church.
Okay, Brother Brown, you know that you see the fellowship that was here, that was exhibited by all the members today. really hit you or sunk into you yet that this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, a historic moment? And when it does, what do you think it's going to mean to you?
It hit me when the chairman of St. Matthew's Church made the statement that when we build again, come and see them. And that's when it sunk in me. I said, well, you know, I'm only 33 and I might not never do this again. You know, and I felt glad that a lot of our older members made it to this day to see it because a whole lot of members did. And for me to be my age and be able to do this and then enjoy it for a long time, hopefully, I'm really satisfied with it. I doubt that we would have maybe some other type facility, or a fellowship hall or a gym or something like that. But very few people get to unless you're a pastor, get to go through very many entering in services like Brother Keenan said.
One final question. You know, we still got a long ways to go. As Brother Keenan alluded to, we still have to pay for this building, you know, and the people have to get up off their dust. It's not finished because the edifice is up when we moved in. But I want to kind of reflect back on what's happened in the last couple of years. And, you know, I always try to look at things and see if we have learned anything. If you can pin down one thing, what would be that one thing that you feel like that you've learned in the last couple of years about our church, about our people, about yourself?
I've learned that if we would let go and let God, that he will always bring his task out. I felt all along that if we didn't try to do so much ourselves and just ask the Lord, and like Brother Keenan would always tell the membership, we need to pray and ask God's guidance and help. That whatever we decide to do, if it's for his glory and edification, he'll bring it about. And I believe that if we just got a few folks, we'll keep on keeping on, that the money part will take care of itself. You know, it's during times like this when you can find out, as far as mortal beings are concerned, is who really loves the Lord and who don't.
Well, I'd like to thank both of you, and I'd like to thank you because I know that you both work really hard, and today you can kind of sit back and relax maybe a little bit and celebrate what's been accomplished so far.
Thank you.
Samuel Johnson, brother of Reverend Johnson, is visiting us from Nassau, Bahamas. Sam, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to be back, and I've enjoyed the service so far. And it's, you know, as I love, you know, about what has happened is that it's only through God's goodness that the church have been able to reach this far. You know, it goes to show you that without him, we cannot accomplish anything, but with him, there's so much that we are able to accomplish. And I think it gives us that the urgency to continue to serve him because he is the way maker. You know, sometimes the way seems dark, seems as though things are difficult, but once we put our hands in his hands, and he'll lead us through.
Well, it's certainly good to see you back. I know you try to make it over here at least a couple of times a year. You must really love Louisville.
Yes, I do. I love Louisville. I've really fallen in love with Louisville, and whenever my vacation comes around yearly, I usually come this way.
Well, it certainly is good to see you, Stuart, pastor at Little Flock Baptist Church, and his companions, Reverend and Mrs. Wellington A. Johnson. Reverend Johnson, I know that this is a day that you've been looking forward to for a long time. I know there's a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations, and I also know that there's a whole lot of work left ahead. But today we just want to kind of sit back and celebrate what sort of happened, and how do you feel?
Well, I feel elated. I feel relieved that we have got to this point in our history, and thank God for it. As you said, it's been a long struggle. There have been a lot of ups and downs, but through it all, God is to be glorified. I appreciate especially my wife standing by my side, and the encouragement she has given me that has been a source of strength to be able to get through this period. I thank God for the faithful members who have really worked hard. There have been some who were a little bit skeptical, but I just want to say thank God for this moment, and thank God for those members who have really put their hands to the plow and they did not look back.
Thank you. Sister Johnson, I know that no one knows better the emotions and the trials and the tribulations that Reverend Johnson has gone through more than you do. Now that the day has arrived and we're ready to move into our new edifice, how do you feel at this moment?
I I just want to say to God be the glory, great things he has done. It's just been a wonderful experience, a once in a lifetime probably, but we're just here to do God's work, and wherever he say do, we're going to do it. And we just thank Little Flock as a whole for being so supportive behind us during this period. We just want to thank God for this beautiful day.
Thank you both. So, and Sister Mary Williams here with us, a member of a family that's been associated with Little Flock for a very, very long time. And I know that they are very glad to see what's happening here today. And first, I'd like to start off with Sister Williams on my right and let her express her feelings on this occasion.
It's a wonderful feeling. I have thought about this day for a long time and hoped and prayed that I would live to see this day, and I'm really, really, truly happy.
Thank you, Sister Williams. Sister Bledsoe, this is something that we at Little Flock have been pointing to for a long time. It hasn't been without its trials and its struggle, but now the day has finally arrived, and at least we're in. And express your feelings at this time.
Really, usually I'm at a drop of a head. I can use a lot of words, but I'm without words. I'm just glad to see this day. I'm really overjoyed, and I'm glad that my sons and my grandchildren are here to see it along with my sister. I just regret that my oldest sister's not here, who had labored so hard to see this day, but I'm glad that my other sister's here with me to see this day.
Well, this is something that this family has really been looking forward to for a very long time, and this is something that we don't want to spoil on this day, and so we'll be gracious and something that we've really been looking forward to. So thank both Deacon and Mrs. Willie J. Hill, two members who worked very, very hard for this church. And one thing that I know is that they really love the Lord and they really love this church. They are people who have made great sacrifices and will just do anything that they're called on to ask to do for this church. And first of all, I'd like to see if you, starting with you, Mrs. Hill, to see what are your expressions on this glorious occasion of Little Flock moving into their new sanctuary.
This is a blessing in disguise from God. We waited a long time, but those good things come to those who wait.
Well, Ms. Hill, I know what it means to you and to be in here, and your family been associated with this church for many, many years and working very hard. And so, but what about the fellowship that you're experiencing today? How do you feel about that?
I feel real good because we have always been a church family, but this brings us closer because we've come through a few trials and tribulations, and this has brought us closer together. I feel the closeness.
I have here on my left one of our, he's assistant chairman of our deacon board. Of course, I like to call him Jitterbug Hill, and I ain't going to tell you where that comes from. Brother Hill, what are your thoughts on today?
Well, today, it's been a wonderful day. They sang a song this morning about it's been a good day. It's been the wonderful day of my life. To see people fellowship in love, look like they're in love, see what I mean? You don't know, but seem like they're in love. They look like on one accord.
If it was one thing that you could leave with the Little Flock family, Brother Hill, what would that be on this moment?
Well, I tell them to be steadfast in trusting the Lord.
Thank both of you. Would you like to express to us some of your thoughts about this day, Little Flock moving into its new sanctuary?
Well, as I've said before, I feel better now, but at first I was very despondent. I didn't like the idea of borrowing and using other people's things. But now, you know, after I stayed up in it a while, it's been very enjoyable, and the people have proven that they were real. So I've enjoyed it.
Now that we have this new facility, what do you think it's going to mean to us as a church?
I really don't know what it's going to mean, but I know what it should mean. We should get closer to each other because the Lord has been wonderful. He has blessed us, and we should be much, much closer. We know what the struggle is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I want to bring in Brother Early Studemar. He's one of the deacons here at Little Flock. And Brother Studemar, give us your thoughts on this day.
On what?
On the day of us moving into our new sanctuary. How do you feel about it?
I think it's a blessing. Anything that God does, you got to make an effort before you can succeed. And I think we've been wonderfully blessed. But to be able to struggle and go through the thing that we went through with, but we still kept our hands in God's hands. And I think from now on, we give God the glory, and everything will be all right.
If I asked you to sing one song right now, would you do it for me?
Yes.
No, you would. Get on out of here. Go get you something to eat. Finally say, as I reflect on my thoughts about the day, that the one thing that I gather in talking with others is just the glory and the fellowship that they are experiencing here today. And all seem to agree that the glory should all go to God. I know I've had my thoughts about building the new facility here. It's something that I've been looking forward to as superintendent of Sunday school. I think that it really benefit our Sunday school. I think that not only will this new church, this new building be good for Little Flock, but it'll be good for this community here in the East End. So I'm looking for great things, and I like to say that I really have enjoyed this program today. I really enjoyed making this video, and I like to, while I'm doing this, commend our technician, Steve Porter, on what a fine job he's done. I don't think that we would get the quality that we're getting if it wasn't for him being such a quality individual himself. So I'd like to say thank you, Steve.
To sum it all up for the day, I thought it was a wonderful day. I pay tribute to the folks, people at Little Flock Baptist Church, and some of the ones who really helped to get the building going that didn't live long enough to see it. I like to dedicate it to my brother Durrell, my mother, my kids, Sharonda, Chinese and Durrell, and Linda Williams' wife and her kids, who are members of Little Flock but not here today to praise the Lord with us. And I'd like to thank Steve Porter for taking time out from whatever he had to do to make it all possible for all of us. And I'm proud of the building. And I'm too looking for brighter things for the Little Flock family. And I hope that just because it was a new building today, don't mean it's the only reason why we would have a crowd here. But again, too, I'm very happy.